Welcome back, everybody, to the Even Your Dynasty show.
We just got breaking news in.
What's up, everybody?
We might need that warning a few more times tonight, boys.
Yeah, we might have to drop that on the screen a couple more times, but welcome back, everybody, to the Even Your Dynasty show. We're gonna, I don't know what you want to call this, a therapy session. Just
It's a safe place.
Yeah, this is a safe place in here. If anybody that comes here for positivity or anything like that, today's probably not going to be the day for you. So just fair warning.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a point where Giants fans are going to be more united than right now?
Yeah.
You're not wrong there.
Oh, man. Well, hey, we can go ahead and kick it off with a series recap for the series against the Padres. They always say a picture's worth 1,000 words. So here's our recap. Sum it up.
That sums it up, boys.
All right. Go ahead and rinse that from our brain. And I think that's I think that's about all we need to say. So and the two games prior against Washington weren't much better. And we're just gonna go ahead and talk because it's like the title of this video says it all. The Giants are just broken right now. It's been 2 months or so of this. Even before that, there was a lot of things they just weren't doing well, and it kind of always looked like, is the bottom going to fall out on them? Is there some stuff that, is it sustainable? And that was constantly our question with when they were actually playing well. And clearly it wasn't, because they never figured out how to do things situationally. The pitching finally hit a wall. They're continuing to make errors defensively and stupid mental mistakes constantly. And it's a bad team. Like, I don't really, they just play bad baseball. Like, I don't necessarily know if it's like a bad team overall. Like, they just play bad baseball and poor fundamental baseball constantly. So, yes, I guess it is a bad team, but you guys know what I mean. It's not a talent issue per se.
No, yeah. Like you said, it's probably the most talented roster, quote unquote, Giants have had in years. Where's the disconnect? That's TBD. It's like that post that I sent you earlier, how the 2025 Giants are like, if you watch the movie Major League in reverse, it describes them perfect, bro. So I don't know. Everyone's pointing fingers at Bomel. Obviously you got to point at someone. Manager's always going to be the first one that you kind of do so too. Spencer, we almost wore brown paper bags over our heads start this live.
I was gonna do it, man.
Yeah.
I just couldn't find one.
But no, man, I don't know what it is. It's weird. It's like nothing is clicking. Like you mentioned, offensively, defensively, starting pitching, relief pitching, base running. Simple fundamentals, nothing is clicking for this team, and it doesn't make much sense to me. But someone's got to change, plain and simple. You cannot go into 2026 with the same roster and coaching staff. You gotta shake something up in one way, shape, or form. So right now we're just. It pains me to say it, but I'm looking forward to 2026. Like it says right on my name, I'm looking forward to the offseason, looking forward to, winter meetings, looking forward to spring training. Like I'm ready to move on. As sad as that sounds, it's just hard to watch.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot going on behind the scenes that we don't know of right now, that we might not hear come out until after the season ends and some major moves are actually made. It just doesn't really make a lot of sense given the talent on the team, but it's also just weird how things have spiraled so quickly. and so poorly, and then just been sustained for such a long period of time. I mean, as early as I would say early May, we started seeing some of the issues, and we're like, okay, well, once this guy gets going, and once this guy gets going, and it just never happened ever, and it's bizarre. But I just think we saw them so quickly get away from the brand of baseball that was winning them those games early on in the season, and I think we just never saw them get back to that. And I don't know if it's an issue with players not buying into the coaching staff and the way they want them to play, or if it's that this team has a bunch of selfish players offensively and we don't know about that. It's really hard to say because it doesn't really seem like there's a huge ego issue on the team, but it is possible that guys are just playing for themselves because the way they approach at bats throughout every single game, especially the last 2 months specifically, it sure seems like it, because every at bat, it just seems like that one guy's just trying to do damage for himself and his own numbers. And you don't see anybody sacrificing at bats for the good of the team, like hardly ever. You saw it a little bit early on in the season when they were coming back and, having a ton of walk-offs, but we haven't seen that for months now. And the energy around the team has been horrible. Your manager has no answers. The alleged leaders on the team have no answers. There's has to be something more going on than what we're being led to believe.
Yeah, and just to kind of chime in off of that, as difficult of a conversation as all this is to have, the three of us have been, realistically I can't even think of the word for it. Optimistic. There we go. Realistically optimistic for the vast majority of the year. And even if you guys go back to spring, the three of us, you can look at the old clips. My projection was 84.5 wins, give or take. I believe Cody's was 86, 87. Ricky's was like 89. So it's like we had high expectations for, as much as we keep it real on this show and keep it real with you guys, like we had somewhat high expectations for this team. And right now they'll be lucky if they hit 80 wins. That's just the reality of where we're at right now. So you gotta address whatever the main issue is. Cause like you guys pointed out, there seems to be a lack of leadership on all fronts, whether it's from the coaching staff or whether it's from, your highest paid players on the team. Nobody's got answers as far as what's going on. And it's just very dysfunctional baseball, very dysfunctional team right now. And it's, you want to try to end the season on a high note. Well, you got to be realistic about your performance as of late. And if you're going to keep playing like you have been playing, like I said, you're going to be lucky to hit 80 wins.
Yeah. That just sums it up. It's just, they're just plain and simply, I like Ricky said, I don't know if it's a issue at the top. The reality is everybody that's a part of this deserves blame. Buster deserves blame. He constructed a chunk of, he constructed some of the team coming into the year. Obviously, a lot of it's holdovers from Farhan, but he's going to deserve some blame because he stuck with Bob Melvin and guys like Pat Burrell and all them. Melvin's going to deserve blame because, well, he's the leader of the clubhouse. I see a couple of people in there mentioning that. Obviously the manager deserves blame and the players deserve their fair share of blame. I'm not going to pit 100% of this on Bob Melvin because at the end of the day, he's not the one on the field making the plays. And these are guys that have been professionals or been playing the game for multiple decades for most of them. And they're making mistakes that are stuff you see like in Little League. So it's just, everybody deserves blame in this, but as the saying goes, you can't fire the whole team. So at the end of the day, you got to look to the top, and it's, to me, like, it's got to be a culture issue at this point. People aren't being held accountable. I have the saying that I always like to use. You're either dealing with problems or you're allowing them to happen. Well, nothing's gotten dealt with at all this season. We've had the same issues from 2024 to this season, from the beginning of the season to the end, or to now in this season, and nothing's changed. So is the answer to just fire Bob and like the entire coaching staff? Is the answer to fire most of the coaching staff, get like new hitting coaches and all that in, and maybe they do run it back with Bob? I mean, I don't personally want to see that, but wouldn't shock me at this point. Like I do think some heads are gonna roll at the end of the day. Like they're not gonna just come out of this season and be like, oh, we're gonna run it back. I mean, I don't know any way you could inspire your fan base less than to do that. So I do think some people are gonna get the boot, and deservedly so. I mean, this has been one of the most disappointing stretches of baseball I've watched in just a long time. I mean, even back when you look at like 2017, 2018, I think 2018 is when they lost like 98 games. Even when you go back and look at that, or those years, I mean, you just kind of expected those teams to suck. It wasn't like right now where this should be a good team with a ton of talent, and they just are terrible.
I'm just trying to think of where everything went wrong, because I mean, obviously spring training is spring training, but like they were good in spring training and they were good the first month of the season. Fundamentally speaking, they were stealing bases. They were, number one in the league as far as least amount of errors defensively. They were being good with runners in scoring position. They were playing good fundamental baseball in the first, including spring training and the first month of the season, the first 2 months that we had baseball. I mean, they were playing good. And I don't know what went wrong. And, they, in June, when they made the splash deal for Rafi, and they said, we're going all in. And I was like, dude, this is it. And then just since then, bro, it's just been a nonstop, snowball effect of a downward spiral. And I just can't figure out what went wrong. Yeah, Liam, I don't know. Everything that they were doing right the first month of the year, it just went out the door. So yeah, it's very confusing. This is, like you mentioned, this has been the weirdest 2-month stretch of baseball I've seen in a long, long time.
Yeah, and you can even go back further, but I agree with everything Cody said, but it definitely has to start with the manager, because like he said, ultimately, I mean, there's not very much flexibility on what you can do with most of the position player group on this roster right now. You have a ton of these guys locked up long term, so you need to either figure out if those are the wrong guys or if Melvin is the wrong guy. And ultimately, there's something wrong when two of your leaders are vouching for Melvin and nobody is playing for the guy. Because, I mean, I don't know what more of a wake-up call the team could have needed on several occasions. They lost Tyler Rogers and Yaz, two guys that everybody in the clubhouse claimed to love because of their poor play. They claimed to want Bob around, and then all they did since he got extended was play significantly worse after that. And ultimately, for some of the Giants fans I've seen out there saying, oh, well, if we get rid of Mel, where do we go from there? Well, guess what, guys? We are at rock bottom right now. So you can only go up from here. I don't know. I've seen a sloppier Giants team in my life that at least had actual talent on the team. Obviously, we had those thin years at the end of Barry's career where the team was pretty ugly all around. But this team, just as far as the expectations and the talent, it's pretty damn bad. And ultimately, if your supposed leaders are Chapman, Webb, Adames, those guys, and they're not holding their teammates accountable, then Melvin needs to step up and do it. And like Cody said, we have not seen that all year. We've seen Ramos make countless errors, like some of the worst errors I've ever seen by a big leaguer, several times this season, several times in the last few months. And Mel openly admitted to allowing Ramos to talk his way into staying in the lineup instead of getting benched for those errors. So ultimately, how do you expect those errors to be corrected when you allow a player to run the show and tell you that he's going to be playing? Yes, you like that to an extent, out of one of your better young hitters. But at some point, you need to let him know that you're calling the shots and you're running the show as the manager. And you need to let the players know that there is going to be accountability, because if there's not, you see Ramos continue to make the same mistakes over and over, and nothing's going to change. Obviously prior to getting rid of Camilo, you saw him make countless mental errors too. At some point, you need to look at the roster and be like, are these the kind of guys that we want for the way, we're going to run the organization going forward? If that's the case, then it has to be the manager, because the managers ultimately got to make those players be better. And ultimately, just about every single player on the Giants roster this year has underperformed what they've done throughout their career. So if it's not the players, you got to move on from Melvin.
Yeah. I think realistically speaking, just again, kind of going back to what you mentioned, there's 99.9% chance next season you're going to have that core of Chapman, Adames, Devers, Lee. I fully expect Ramos and Schmidt to be on the team as well next year. That leaves the biggest gaps on your team, and Bailey, of course, but the biggest gaps being first base and right field. And I mean, yes, the bench can be improved, and yeah, it'd be nice to get some stability at first and right field as well. But I mean, realistically, it's not like you're going to be changing the starting lineup on a day-to-day basis too drastically. So I think that really leaves, one other direction to kind of point your fingers to as far as who's to blame for those 6 guys having struggles all year, and that's coaching staff. So I really think that's where you're going to see a lot of the changes occur, and I don't anticipate them happening this month. Maybe you might see some in September. I know they kind of hinted that they picked up Bomel's options 6 weeks ago, and they kind of hinted like, well, that's not a guarantee he's going to be with the team next year. I think, a couple reporters were kind of hinting at that. But again, I think that's more of a move that you'll probably see occur in the offseason. So I just really don't anticipate too big of drastic changes to occur within the next few weeks. But I think that's going to be where you have to look initially.
Yeah. You realistically, you can't just dump Bob right now, because as much as you could, as much as I'd love to just see them just light that fire under everybody in August, it'd be great. But the reality is, you dump Bob, who are you going to have manage the team? Matt Williams has been about as big a joke as Bob this season. Ryan Christensen is the bench coach, which, if he's Bob's bench coach for the last 4 years or whatever it is, I'm not sure how much faith I got in him. You gonna let Hallberg run it? Probably not. It's just like, who are you gonna bring? You can go beg Ron Wotus to come be the manager for a month and a half. Like, I don't see it. The reality is you're gonna roll with Bob at least until like the last week of the year, and if it's still looking like this at that point, maybe you pull a Kappler and you just rip the rug out from under him a series early and put who cares out there for as the manager for a weekend.
No Kai Correa.
I don't. Yeah, it won't be him this time. So yeah, I don't actually see that happening, at least now. And the thing is like, even if you go and fire like Pat Burrell right now, what's that going to accomplish? The time to do that would have been months ago when this was still the problem back then. If you were trying to actually save the season, we realistically, unless you're just worried about like bringing Luciano or Eldridge or any of these other young guys up, and you're just like, we want to get these guys as far away from Pat Burrell as possible. It's not going to do anything to fire him today at this point. So, it sucks. These are all problems that need to be addressed. I don't necessarily think there's something that you can deal with right now in the middle of August without having like a viable solution to put in there over him. Oh boy, I just see. Jeez. Okay, man, I can't put that on the screen.
Nathan, thanks for the 10. Though,
we appreciate it, but come on, bro. Like, come on, man.
I'm trying to see if that's a typo or.
And I'm gonna address this really quick. Has to be done. Rob, please go back and tell us exactly when you're referring to, because Casey Schmidt, I'm telling you right now, has not been picked off multiple times this year. Wisely's gotten picked off multiple times. Fitzgerald's been picked off multiple times. Several other guys, I think Ramos has been. Adamas definitely has a handful of times. Go back and watch the tape. Casey Schmidt has not been picked off multiple times. He's made one base running error. It was coming off second base, where he got too far, and that was the one when Quan threw him out at second after he caught it, where had he let it drop, there's actually a chance he might have gotten hosed at third anyway because of Quan's arm, and it was kind of a tweener ball. And then he made one play where he did not tag up that everybody lost their crap about, and even Casey defended afterward, referring to the fact that if it's no outs, you tag. If there's one out, you go back to the bag, because otherwise there's a good chance he's not going to score. If he doesn't, or if it's one out, you don't tag. If there's one out, you go halfway, because if it doesn't get caught, he's not going to score otherwise. So find me all those base running and fundamental issues that he's made.
And realistically speaking, all biases aside, if you're going based off of the players that are on the roster last year compared to this year, I mean, Casey Schmidt is probably the most improved all around. His at-bat quality is night and day. I mean, he's transitioned over to second base extremely well. He's been very consistent these last few weeks. I think, the last 2 or 3 weeks, he's batting close to like 400. Mm-hmm. Like, what are we doing here? He has that one, mess up, quote unquote, where he got caught in between second and third. But, I mean, besides that, he really hasn't been an issue on this team. I mean, that's all bias aside,
Like I said, there has been almost nobody that has exceeded expectations on this team this year outside of Casey Schmidt, Landon Roop, and Randy Rodriguez. Those are basically your only 3 guys that have like significantly improved off of who they were as a player last season, guys that were in the organization or not. There is not a position player that has improved more than Casey Schmidt. And that's just a fact. There is not a single person. You can go ahead and drop several names right now if you'd like, but there is not a single guy that has improved more than Casey Schmidt. He barely even made the team this year and ended up taking over second base. And honestly, he probably should have done it a lot earlier in the year, but they wanted to give Fitzgerald as many chances as possible to lose that job.
It's okay. We identified the problem. He was drafted by Farhan. That is the problem.
Well, I mean, you're not all the way wrong, Rob.
But... Yeah.
I agree to an extent with that statement.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't get me wrong.
Rob, yes, we like Casey, but we've also been objective about Casey this whole time. Even last season, when everybody had turned on him after 2023. And all I said last season was his at-bat quality had improved a ton and he was showing more power. That's it. And let's just see where it goes. And this season, he has taken a big step. He is so far from being the biggest problem on this team, and he is so far from the guy you should be trying to dump. But even all that said, if you told me, I actually talked with these guys, and I was like, hey, if Bo Bichette made it crystal clear that he wanted to come to San Francisco, dare to dream on that one. If Bo Bichette said he wanted to come, I mean, the reality is you can't trade Matt Chapman. He's got a no trade clause. He's not going anywhere. And if you told me you could trade Casey for a catcher or a solid starter and you could bring in Bo, I mean, yeah, it would be, that's something you'd absolutely have to seriously consider. And that's even with how big of a fan of Casey I am. But that's just the reality. I'm always going to be objective about the guy. And the reality is he is not the problem right now. He's one of the few guys that is actively not the problem on this roster. So, and I see what you're saying about him. If he was younger, he's 26 years old. Do you realize he's younger than all but 2 starters on this lineup? And and he's making $800,000. He's not even arbitration eligible for 2 more years.
And let me give you one other thing to chew on. Casey Schmidt is the same age as Jung-Hoo Lee, who everybody's in love with, who is on a $100 million contract. Casey has a higher average, a higher OPS, and more home runs in less playing time. Just think about that for a second.
I mean,
Everybody loves Jung-Hoo Lee, and then the fan base is absolutely polarized on Casey Schmidt, who has done nothing but improve every single year. And his biggest critique has always been his strikeouts, which he has also significantly improved every single year.
realistically, the only two offensive players at this very moment who are not a problem are Dom Smith and Casey Schmidt. They're the only two exceptions that are performing well and actually playing like they give a shit. So, just to keep it a buck with you guys, everyone else is kind of already called to wave the white flag a bit, but
yeah, we'll move off the Casey Schmidt topic at this point. I just that's no.
I do want to go back to some of the Bomel talk for a minute too, as far as making that managerial change. Like Cody was saying, it at this point in the season, it makes no sense to get rid of him, but it also makes no sense to go into next season with him either, because ultimately what you're running the risk of next season, if you do write it out with him and the Giants absolutely flop and do the same thing they're doing right now you've wasted half a season and potentially all of 2026 on Bomel. Everybody's gotten a year older, and you've wasted all this money going in on a roster that just either can't play for Bomel, gets worse under Bomel, or does not want to play for Bomel. One way or another, there's something going on, and that's pretty evident. And it's not only that, but like Dan and Cody have already said, it's the entire coaching staff. Everybody constantly raves about all the work the Giants players put in before and after games, on their off days. They're putting in all this extra work in the cage and out in the field and doing this and that. And at some point you have to look at it like it's not the amount of work they're putting in, it's the process. And ultimately, what are they doing? What is their plan before games? Because, Pat Burrell can go and sit down with the entire middle of the lineup every single day and come up with a game plan for these guys. And ultimately, either they're not listening because they don't respect or trust the coaching staff, or they're coming up with terrible plans and they have a horrible outlook on how to attack opposing pitching. Because the entire season, the Giants have been one of the worst, if not the worst teams at hitting straight four-seam fastballs. That is absolutely unacceptable and shows they are not ready to hit. That has to be a philosophical change going forward. I know Posey and Manassian have seemed to covet more of the, contact hitting type players that are, going to reduce strikeouts. But ultimately, if they're not changing their approaches with their at-bats, and they're constantly sitting off speed and letting opposing pitchers just pump fastballs over the heart of the plate and they're not protecting, this is going to be continuing to be an issue year in, year out. And it really has been even since Farhan and Gabe Kappler first came over. Their approach has never really changed. And that's why you see this team so poor situationally. You look at a team like the Milwaukee Brewers, and they're not a insanely talented lineup. But the thing that those guys do is they go up there and they approach hitting kind of like we see out of Dom Smith. They shorten up and they look to put the ball in play with two strikes. They're not sitting on one pitch and saying, you know what, if I get a fastball here, I'm not swinging. And if it's right down the middle, oh, well, I'm only going to swing if I can do damage on a pitch and something I'm timed up to. You look at the Milwaukee Brewers, they're going and trying to hit the ball hard into the ground if they need to with two strikes. And you know what? They're putting a ton more pressure on defenses with their speed and just putting the ball in play more. And I don't think it could be any more evident that the Giants have to force that change one way or another. they just can't continuously accept these guys having selfish at bats.
You're 100% right. And I really want to see what this team would look like if Buster Posey is able to choose his own manager and have his hands in the pot for the coaching staff. Because, I mean, realistically, he came in as president of baseball operations with Bomel already here, and Bob already had his guys that he wanted to keep. And so, out of respect, Buster let him assemble his own team, so to speak, and said, hey, I put my trust in Bob. He knows what he's doing. Go ahead and do it. And clearly it's blown up in his face. So I really want to see what this looks like just with a complete fresh overhaul. Keep JP. I'm a big fan of JP, as are the other two guys here. We're big fans of JP. Keep him. But if you were to tell me that Buster Posey let the entire coaching staff go besides JP Martinez and participated as far as the hiring process to fill all of those spaces with players of his choice, like, I genuinely think you can have a high quality staff, high quality culture, and it can translate to the on-field as well. I'm just really curious what that would look like if you cleaned house and had Posey delegate, a lot of these decisions.
Yeah. I mean, I see a couple different options. Like, if they want to go, like, if they do in fact move on from Bob and clean out a bunch of the coaching staff. And I mean, I'll trust whoever the next person is to assemble a coaching staff. I'm not going to sit here and, when they put it together, I'm not going to sit there and rip it and blow it apart. Well, I like to let stuff play out and see what happens. So whenever the next person comes in, we'll see what they do with the coaching staff. I hope they keep JP around, just like Dan said. I think he's done a pretty good job. Feels like a lot of the young pitchers have, done pretty well under him. Obviously, Hayden did better in like the starter role than he did in the reliever role earlier in the year than he did when he moved to being a starter. But guys like Roop have had really good years. Robbie Ray, he's not a young guy, but he had a really good year. Randy Rodriguez has had a really, an all-star year. Eric Miller was having a good year before he had his injury. So like, I feel like JP's done a really good job, and he deserves to stick around. But like, as far as the manager goes, like, I can see a couple different scenarios here. The obvious one that I think every Giants fan is going to bring up, a lot of people, I saw it earlier, is Bruce Bochy's contract's up in Texas. Feels like he would probably want to retire, but I mean, I feel like if Buster makes that call, Bochy's going to at least listen, I think, at that point. I think another one that kind of stands out if people are wanting to go with like an older person, and guys, none of these are long-term solutions. I have kind of an idea with this, if they're going to go this route. Not saying that this is my preference, just kind of thinking out loud. The other one, if you're going to really go old school or older and just try and change the culture, you could always do what Houston did. You bring in Dusty for a couple of years and try and have somebody that can follow Dusty right afterward. You can go that route. If you want to go with a guy that is very respected around the Giants, you could always give a guy like Ron Wotus a shot. But ultimately, none of those guys are the guys that I want. I mean, you guys know who I want as the manager, and that's Nick Hundley. But if you go external, like a lot of these guys like Quantrill and some of these like bench coaches, Espada, they've turned out to be pretty damn good, solid managers around the league. So it's like, go get a new voice. Go get somebody that's been on the bench for 5-10 years and is a bit on the younger side. That's hungry and looking to change the culture and do the game the right way and everything. And I'd want to bring someone like that in at the end of the day. So.
And I really think they need to look a little bit further outside of the organization, because it's very clear, like you said, there needs to be a culture change. That doesn't have to come from some ex-Giant coach or ex-Giant player. Like, let's get some new opinions in here. Let's get some new voices. Let's get a new philosophy in here, because the hitting philosophy has been stale, even going back to the World Series years. They situationally were a lot better, especially in the playoffs. They did execute playing a small ball brand of baseball, but you know what? It's a new era. It's a new game of baseball. Teams play way different than they did back then, and the Giants need to adapt. That's been the problem, is they just have not adapted. It's been the same philosophy regurgitated over and over and over and over and over. You know, if you do end up going the Bochy or the Dusty route, have them bring in some of their own guys and some younger faces that have been in other organizations and can bring some new ideas, because they really need to get out of that. It's just been the same thing over and over and over. But like you said, more importantly, just change the culture. And, you know, honestly, that might have to start out with getting rid of some of the guys currently on the team. You know, I don't want to rehash the Patrick Bailey stuff, but if anybody had any level of confidence in Patrick Bailey, please rewatch those 3 games against San Diego. If there's anybody that is the heart of the issues that are this team and what has been going wrong the last 2 seasons, that guy is one of the biggest problems on this team. And I'm not just bagging on him because he has terrible hitting numbers. If you go up to the plate when your team needs you most and that your team is in one of the biggest possible funks, and you go up there with the bat on your freaking shoulders every single at bat, and you're just letting guys groove in fastballs that aren't even close to being called balls, they're right over the middle of the plate and they're well above the knees, you are the problem. Plain and simple.
Jerry.
You can't have that. That is absolutely demoralizing for a team when your starting catcher, who should be a leader on your team if he's your starting catcher, is going up there and just, you know, like Nate's saying, praying for a walk, and he's just letting balls go by. How does the rest of your team feel? They get guys on base, they get ducks on the pond, and you come up with 2 outs and a chance to give your team a lead against a division rival. And they're like, oh, great, Patrick's up. He's going to let them groove fastballs and he's done. Might as well get your glove and get out to the field. You know, what kind of message is that sending to your team? And then as a manager, Bob Melvin allows that. I don't care if he's a damn Gold Glove winner. If you're going to be a crap hitter, at least put in an effort. But when you're just completely defeated in the box and everybody's counting on you and you just allow that to happen, not once, not twice, not 3 times, 4 times in 3 games, he does that. That is absolutely unacceptable.
3 were in a row.
Yeah, I'm like, what are we watching here? If there's any level of accountability, it needs to start with Patrick Bailey.
It's like I told Cody that night when he had 3 back-to-back. I was like, bro, it's like you have a starting pitcher in your lineup again, where they just go up and you're like, all right, innings over.
It's disrespectful to Madison Bumgarner.
Yeah, out there. But and again, I think that all ties back to whether it's the culture, whether it's the fundamentals that are being taught, whether it's the analytics that are being drawn up, you know, for that at bat or whatever. Like, I don't know what it is, man, but you've got to change everything from starting at the top, right, you know, right under Posey and Manias, and you got to make some sort of changes, because that's really, you know, where you're going to see that snowball effect as far as improvement hopefully happen. I mean, I sent you guys that stat earlier today. I don't know if you saw it, Rick. Yeah, the chat probably doesn't even know about this, but if we're talking about, you know, the organization as a whole and diving more like into the development side of things, here's a really fun fact for you that I sent to the boys earlier. Since 2010, the Giants have drafted just under 250 players, or hitters, I should say, not players, hitters. Of those hitters, there has been 1 player that's been drafted by the Giants who has signed a multi-year MLB contract. And I don't know if you guys know who it is. It is Adam Duvall with the Braves, a 2-year deal. No other Giants drafted hitter since 2010 has signed a multi-year contract. like try to wrap your mind around that for a second. And where does that start? That starts organizationally speaking. That starts on your coaching staff. That starts, towards the top. And it's just a huge accumulation of things. Yeah, the Giants won, 3 World Series after that, but those are all, farm system players that they drafted pre 2010. So just it's something that has plagued this team, as far as developing and now coaching for years now. And something's got to change, man. Scouting too. Yes, Rob. Someone's got to change. I don't know, man. But it's
maybe he meant in free agency. Yeah, I mean, he's correct. Brian Reynolds did get an extension, so yeah, we'll slight amendment to that. Yeah.
But no, man, you're at a point, where you have a massive payroll on this team right now. Your core, so to speak, is pushing like what, 150 plus million next year, 200 mil, like just for your core players. Like if you really want to do something, you got to address the issues from the top and apply it this upcoming year. Cause you can't waste this, man.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm gonna actually say it's a development issue from the top. Like the draft has been obviously. They haven't produced a ton of good players, so I guess you could theoretically point to draft. But to me, I've looked at a lot of the players they've had, especially the last few years. They've had talented players. It's not an issue of talent; they just can't develop them. So yes, have they not drafted well relative to other teams? Probably, but usually you at least run into some good players in what you because you can develop them, and they have not. So I don't know. Like I think development has been the number one issue. Now that said, I actually have there's a lot of positives to what they've done development wise down in the minors this season. Big philosophical changes in the organization, and we're seeing the benefits of that. That has been, I feel like this show here got vindicated a little bit in this last week. I don't know, for everybody that saw all season we had, or all off season, all we ever heard was Giants have the worst system in baseball, or one of the worst. And at the time we said, guys, it's not as bad as they're giving them rankings. We promise it's a little bit better. Is it good? No, but it's better than they're trying to say. Well, nationally, they just got the attention finally. Went all the way up to 16th with Baseball America, and now they're the 18th ranked system with MLB Pipeline, which, go figure, is right in line with about where we said they should be. I think we had put them in like the 18 to 20 range. So
I was gonna say, I think we did like 17 through 23 or something a few months ago.
Yeah, it's like
right in there.
They're better than people said. So I do think it's getting better. They've got a lot of upside. Some of these young players down in the complex league, San Jose, most of it's San Jose. And you're seeing it start to sprinkle up. A few of them have gone up to Eugene. Bo is now in AA. So, time will tell on all this, but as far as the minor leagues go, this is the best season for development that we've seen in probably 10 plus years. Like they're getting a lot of great production down there. So that's a big time positive. So, not to get way off topic, but yeah, I just wanted to give some credit as far as development goes for the team.
And that's what we're saying in terms of sometimes you do have to be a little bit more critical of the process and what's going on with the coaching that's going on, because for the most part, the farm system was operating with the same cast of characters as last year. And last year and the year before were god awful years for the farm system. And that was like night and day different this year. Almost everybody last year, outside of like Bryce Eldridge and a couple guys, had down years, completely underperformed, were getting rushed through levels that they weren't ready to jump into. This year, at times, they've been almost a little bit too patient, but now you're seeing it pay dividends, because you're seeing almost every top prospect for the Giants outside of a small handful have had really good years, have actually earned promotions and forced their way up to the next level. And now like you guys said, the arrow's pointing way up on the farm system in general. And I think it'll continue to go up as we're seeing some of these really young, like teenagers and guys start making their way through San Jose and Eugene. So it makes a huge difference. And it's really the same thing with the major league level too. No, there's a lot of people that don't want to blame Bo Mel for guys underperforming, but ultimately you have several veteran guys in the Giants lineup right now that are significantly underperforming based off of their career averages. And you look at this season and the coach himself says he has no answers. That should tell you all you need to know.
Amen, brother.
Sometimes it's not about, who's there in front of you on the field. It's, like I said, about that process and, how things are being ran behind the scenes. So I don't know. It's
100%.
It's going to be an interesting here in the next month or so, hearing some of the stuff that always tends to leak out after the season ends.
Yeah. And to your point about the young players, just so everybody knows, Giants did get an updated list. They have 3 top 100 prospects now. Obviously, Josh War got added a month or so ago. Bo Davidson got added. He was number 88 on the Baseball America Top 100. I fully expect, and I'm not just saying this because I predicted before the season they would have 4 at the end of the year, but I do expect Johnny Level to jump on that list, especially if he finishes strong in A-ball. He's got the age thing working for him, being 18 years old, and he's had a phenomenal year. He's got the rep with scouts. Baseball America was extremely high on them. They called him the best prospect in the complex league. I fully expect him to crack that list. And then if you go beyond that, I think there's 5 or 6 other guys that have top 100 potential. Guys like Jacob Bresnahan, Argenis Kayama, Luis De La Torre, Keener Martinez, Gavin Keelan. As much as we think he's maybe a little bit capped as ceiling wise, he's definitely a guy that has that potential. And then one guy that's not even in their system yet, but he's going to be their big prize of, knock on wood, everything goes well, he's committed to sign, is Luis Hernandez, who's going to be like one of the top guys like Joshua was. He might end up being better than Joshua. I mean, for those of you that have watched out this guy's game a little bit, which I'm sure not many have, but follow him on IG, looks like a very polished player, especially for 15, 16 years old. So he's going to be coming. He's another guy that could end up on that list. So you're talking about a system that genuinely can go from being one of the worst to one of the best in just a short period of time. So fingers crossed on that.
Sure.
But yeah, now we'll move back to Bob. What about Bob?
We had to have some positives tonight.
Yeah. We slip that, we slip some positivity in there. Can't make it all negative. But yeah. So any ideas on who are you guys thinking you want to see them pursue?
As far as like a manager?
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about it for months. Nick Hundley would be a great internal candidate, kind of. I mean, he's a former Giant, so
he's with Texas right now, I think.
Yeah. So Nick Hundley would be a great choice if he's open to it. I've seen a couple people mention like Mark DeRosa. I feel like if he was to walk away from his TV gig, he would probably be a decent manager. I mean, me personally, I want to go for one of those younger guys. I mean, yes, Bochy or Dusty. I mean, they're iconic Giants managers, but and they might reestablish culture for a year or two, but then you're going to be stuck at square one here into 26 or 27 trying to find another manager. So I just want to get some stability. I mean, I saw a article today talking about how when Buster was playing, the first 11 years of his career, he had one manager, Bruce Bochy. And I think that's really a big thing for these guys, especially, a team like this where you have just established your core this year. I don't want them to go through, having Bomel this year and then Bochy or Dusty for the next year or two, and then after that switch to a different manager, like 3 managers at a span of 4 years, hypothetically speaking. Like I just don't think that's going to be good for this core where they're built to kind of contend in the next couple years, especially as they're in the middle of their prime and coming towards the end of years of it. So I really just want to establish like a long-term manager that can establish the culture, establish the fundamentals, build that nice coaching staff, and you have something to build off of for years to come. So if you can get a younger guy like a Hunley or a DeRosa, or another former player like that who's interested in being like a long-term piece for this team, I really think you should pursue a guy such as that. I saw a couple of people throw out like Skip Schumacher, someone that's a younger player, or that's, a younger guy, but a former player that's recently retired. I really want to do something like that.
Is Skip Schumacher managing anywhere right now?
Managing? I don't believe so. I think he wasn't he? Didn't he get fired?
He was with Miami, and I don't know if he...
I think he got fired.
Joined the Rangers baseball ops as a senior advisor. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like trying to figure out where the heck he was. Yeah, I mean, and someone mentioned Joe Girardi. I know that didn't end well for him in Philly, but yeah, it's hard. I mean, my thing with a guy like Hunley is just because of I remember watching him. I said the same thing about Stephen Vogt when he was here. And I said the same thing about Nick Hunley. Was just during their time here, I felt like those are guys that would make good managers if they ever wanted to do it. But like I mentioned earlier, there's probably a ton of guys that are like on someone's bench right now, someone's bench coach that's waiting for their shot, and that would make good managers. So I don't want to look down on any of these candidates that might be out there. I remember when they hired Bruce Bochy. I'll openly sit here and stand in front of everybody right now and say, when they hired Bruce Bochy, I was extremely disappointed in that hire, and I was dead wrong. And I know there were a ton of Giants fans that felt the same way. So you never know when they hire a guy. It could be good, could not. And the only guy Big Ben Doe wants us to be the coaching staff. The only guy that and I know I hear exactly what Dan's saying as far as like if you go with like a Dusty type, it's not a great look to have like 3 different managers in a short time. I think the only way I'd be willing to go that route is if Dusty's going to bring somebody in like as his bench coach. That's exactly that it's going to be like with Espada behind Dusty in Houston, where everybody knew Espada was taking that job after Dusty was gone. It would have to be a situation like that for me, where you're going to have some continuity there. So
I can get behind that for sure.
Yeah, that'd be the only way. Because I mean, if you're bringing a guy like Dusty, we are going to fix the culture. We're going to stop tolerating the BS. We're going to go back to playing good baseball, and then I'm going to turn it over into someone's hands that I think is going to take care of this org. Like that's what that would have to be. So,
yeah, I will tell you, if Dusty comes here, I guarantee you that lineup will be night and day different all in one season, without a doubt. And I honestly think he's part of the reason to credit Jung-Hoo Lee's kind of recent turnaround, because he worked with him and was kind of getting on him about the same things we've been echoing for months now, and telling him he needs to start hitting line drives the other way and stop rolling the ball over and trying to pull everything, or hitting these lazy fly balls the other way. Now, do I want Dusty? Not necessarily, but like Cody said, if he can bring a guy in, I trust that he has more than enough connections. He's been with the Giants, he's been with the Reds, he's been with the Nationals, he's been with the Astros. He's been around, and we're not going too crazy far back here. So I guarantee there's plenty of well-respected hitting guys around the league that, he would trust to bring in, that, they could have take over for him. And ultimately that's just what I want. I want a guy that can give you that little bit of a blend of the old school and the new school. I do think DeRosa would make a good manager. I just don't know if he would want to leave his current gig. I know he's been, involved in the WBC stuff, but I just don't know that he would want to go to a full-time gig, like, coming to San Francisco.
The only thing I question with DeRosa is like behind closed doors. Would he be able to have like all those tough talks and things like that? Like he seems like one of those guys that's like one of the boys, you know what I mean? Like I kind of question that. It's like I love Hunter Pence, but I would not want that guy leading the team as a manager.
No,
And that's where I would struggle. I think he'd be solid relating to the players and all that, obviously, but it's just it's the same stuff we've complained about with Bob, like with the whole Ramos thing. It's like sometimes you got to be the adult in the room. Like you are the boss.
Yeah.
Make the decisions. Don't it's going to sound bad, but don't let the inmates run the asylum, as the saying that got whoever the Texans owner in trouble. But it's like, you are the boss. Make the call on some stuff. So I think whoever they bring in needs to be able to, set a standard and hold the players to that and not accept less than that. And it doesn't mean you need to go hire. Obviously he passed away a few years ago, but yeah, I'd love to get like an Augie Smith type. Trust me. Like I would love to get somebody like Augie in there that's just going to rip him a freaking new one in the locker room. But
Big Al says Snow or Will Clark as the manager. Can you imagine Will Clark as the manager? Bro would get ejected twice a week, bro. Like,
if we sucked, at least we'd have the John Boy videos.
There would John
God.
Boy would make a killing on a daily basis, man.
Yeah. Oh my God. John Boy would be the happiest person on the planet if Will Clark got hired.
Lou Piniella 2.0. So just taking bases and throwing them into the stands.
Yeah. The locker room would look like a construction site with all the holes in the drywall everywhere.
Yeah, at least even if they were playing rough, you want to watch the game and be entertaining.
He'd get tossed in the second inning, and every player there would be going, "Oh God, what's the clubhouse going to look like when we get done with this game?"
Second inning, he get tossed in the second batter.
Yeah. Who was it? Was it Weaver that got tossed one pitch into the World Series? It's like one of the games. I think it was like Earl Weaver that did.
Earl Weaver. I'm trying to think.
Hey, chat, somebody fact check me on that one.
Yeah.
Was it Earl Weaver or was it like or Brooks Robinson or something like that, or Frank Robinson? I think it was the Orioles manager, and I think it was Earl Weaver at the time. Somebody got tossed like the first batter of a World Series game.
I could see that.
Yeah, someone will have to find that one for us. Weaver or Bauer is what Road King Rob says. Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's solid.
That's funny.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, I agree with you guys, though. There definitely has to be a blend of the new school, the old school, and then also just some level of accountability. It doesn't have to be a total red ass like Will Clark.
Yeah, for sure.
That definitely doesn't seem to work well in this day and age of baseball, but there's got to be a little bit more than what we're currently getting out of Melvin, because we always hear all these ex-players defend him. Oh, it's on the players. It's on the players. It's not on Bob. He holds these guys accountable. He yells at these guys behind the scenes. Well, no, the hell he doesn't, because we see the same guys in the lineup day after they make crucial mental mistakes. So
I was just thinking, can you imagine Will Clark's post-game interviews? Like, especially if it was like a brutal loss, bro, you would have 18 viral clips on that one post-game press conference.
There's Will Clark for you guys.
Yeah.
Except for, actually, it's probably more like this.
Yep.
That would probably be more like it.
For sure.
Oh, man. All right. I'm going to pull. I have another chat that I had started earlier. Actually, I didn't. I had one that I wanted to pull. Yeah, there's one I was going to pull from Baked That Dough that I got to find. It's from Ned Cleddy. Ned Cleddy said you can't ask more of players than they're capable of. Giants are asking Adames and Chapman to be the core when they're historically role players. Yeah, I think that's completely fair. I feel like for a while here, we've been sitting here saying, number one, players have been being miscast in general. We're looking at you, Ramos, in the leadoff spot, just because they happen to be the best at that on the team. And instead of having him driving runs in, we have him trying to set the table for people that can't drive in runs. Looking at you, Chapman. And yeah, so it's just they don't put these guys in the best positions, and they absolutely are expecting too much out of certain players. And you know, I don't Adamas in particular, like both of these guys, I feel like role player might be a bit strong. Like I think they're a little bit better than that. I mean, I guess you could call them like a super high end role player is kind of what you should expect out of those guys. But I mean, they're definitely not like, and what do they like to call them? The aircraft carriers. Like they're not the guys that are carrying your team. Rafi Devers is the only one that's in their lineup that should have that kind of expectation on. So
my thing is though is like when they went out and signed Willie Adames, for example, the first thing that Buster mentioned and emphasized was he's going to be a leader of this team. Like you have to think that he made that clear during the negotiation process. Like, hey,
yeah,
we're bringing you on. We're offering you this big bag because we expect you to be a leader for this team. Are you up to that? And he had to have been up to that. And the same thing goes with Chapman when he gave him that extension. Like, same thing there. So you're setting these expectations from the jump. It's not like they shouldn't be caught off guard thinking, oh, I didn't know I was going to have this much pressure on. Like, bro, you had to have known when you were made that offer, and Buster made it loud and clear. So, I mean, I can't really fault Buster for signing those two guys and expecting them to be leaders, because I 100% can guarantee that he made it clear to them during the negotiation process that we're offering you this so you can be a leader, and you got to be open to it. Dumbest cheerleader. I mean,
there have been moments on that.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I think it's okay to be a leader and not necessarily be like the carrier of the team.
No,
like,
yeah.
Like Hunter Pence. Love the guy. He was absolutely a team leader. I mean, he probably wasn't the leader. I mean, he was kind of like the rah, hype man, whatever you want to call it. But I mean, at the end of the day, if we're like comparatively, like he's similar to like Chapman and Adamas, high level role player. You know, I mean, he was a Robin type player. Like you had Buster Posey was the only guy in that lineup that was like hey, I'm going to carry this team. Plus guys in the rotation. So
But like the other night, for example, it was a really tough loss. I think it was the first game against San Diego. And, you know, Willie's not talking to media. Chappie's not talking to media. They go and interview Elliot Ramos, who's, like you mentioned, making $800K this year, and he's expected to speak on behalf of the team. It's little things like that. And yes, they interviewed Willie after yesterday's loss, and he straight up said he doesn't know what's going on. But it's little things like that I'm talking about. Like if you're going to the media with a lack of leadership and results and explanation as to how your club is performing or underperforming, like what's going on behind closed doors, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But you know, you just reminded me of another point I wanted to make. Where's the fire on the team though? Like everybody craps on Ramos's mistakes as a youngerish player compared to the rest of the lineup, and he's over here getting asked about cracking his bat over his leg and showing a little bit of fire. Where the hell is that from Logan Webb? Where is that from Matt Chapman? Where is that from Willie Adames? Like, are you guys not the leaders on the team? Where is your guys' fire? I haven't seen it all season. I mean, when's the last time you seen Logan Webb fired up? His win against the Dodgers like 2 months ago in LA? That's about the last time I can think of. All I've seen him do since then is, you know, he's had a couple good outings. He's had a couple shaky outings, and I've seen him struggle to hold on to a lead, hold on to a tie. I've seen him struggle to, you know, produce shutdown innings for the Giants. I haven't seen Chapman do anything other than pop up and strike out with runners in scoring position and walk back to the dugout. But ultimately, if these guys aren't the leaders that they claim to be, then why are they on the team?
I'm going to say this. I got to run for like 30 seconds, let Bose out. But I'm going to say this. You guys are going to laugh. Chat's not going to know what it is. The most fire I've seen out of Logan Webb since this skid happened is through X and or Twitter DMs. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah. Yeah, Tom. Breaking a bat over your leg is showing fire. It's showing emotion, something that almost the entire Giants team hasn't shown all year, other than, you know, Pat Bailey walking to the dugout with his head down every time he watches, you know, a fastball grooved in for strike 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is fire 100%.
Yeah, I mean,
the rest of the team needs to show it.
At the bare minimum, it shows he gives a crap about how he's playing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, maybe it's not like the kind of fire you're wanting to see there, Tom, but like it at least shows, like Ricky said, it's at least showing some emotion and that he cares and that he's not happy with the way he's performing or the team. You know, it's like these guys, you got Bailey up there taking strike 3 times in one game, and all he kind of does is he half flips the bat, gets rung up, and he kind of slumps his shoulder, and he's got the Brandon Belt body language going, and he's just kind of
looks like he doesn't care. He looks defeated.
It's like, oh well, and then he just it's like, you're telling me a pitcher doesn't know that, like the other teams aren't seeing that. You're telling me the next team that come to town after the Padres, you know who they got Tampa next. It's like, who's going to kick our ass next? Tampa. You think they didn't see all that? You know, I mean, it's like you've got everybody's going to see these things, and you know, it's just at least Ramos is showing he cares. Like, that's to me. And of course, you know, then the flip side of that is everybody's pointing out that he was over there playing shortstop and warm-ups and whatever. But,
yeah,
which is not a great look. I'll come out and say that right now, but. Yeah. At the end of the day, like, you know, it just we just want to see a little fire out of the team. That's it. We would love to see Willie Adames, who is a rah, you know, cheerleader type. I would love to see Willie go in there and rip somebody in the dugout. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see a Jeff Kent on this team that's going to start a fight with a teammate at this point because they're playing like crap and not doing the little things. I'd love to see someone get in Ramos's face when he makes one of his stupid mistakes. Now, that said, the ball he spiked yesterday, they actually went out and showed that was on Christian Koss, not on Elliot Ramos, everybody. So,
yeah,
you know, but it's just, I would love to see something like that. That's all we're getting at.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, you know, you hear some of these guys, like I've heard Adames say it in the last couple of days. They're talking about how they have bad luck every game, and it's like one little thing goes against them early on in a game, they give up a run, and then all of a sudden they just have no life. Like, you know, they brought up the ball hit in the bag or whatever, second base, and it's like we're feeling defeated over one weird hit going the other team's way, and all of a sudden we can't come back and win a game and do anything other than score a single run against a team we faced numerous times that's in our division. Like, what are we doing? And it's just the excuses after a while just get extremely old because, you know, it's you know, the excuses with not being able to hit home runs in Oracle Park. That's one of the ones we get all the time. Or it's, you know,
I got numbers for you if you want.
Well, it's that, or it's, you know, oh, these guys are all streaky hitters, or like the topic we were just talking about, you know, we're talking about these guys being role players, and it's like, dude, they have way more talent in this lineup than, you know, the half of these teams in the league that are scoring way more runs than them. But it's just for the sake of the Giants having a bunch of individuals on their team who don't want to hit like they're in a lineup with a bunch of other guys. They're all more about themselves and their own at bat and trying to yank one out of the yard all the time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree, Oceans. It's getting old, man. Yes, also, thank God football's back. Agree with that. And yeah, you know, my thing with what Adames said about it feels like we're unlucky. Like, that would mean a lot more if the final score, if they lost by 2 runs or 1 run, you know, if they fought in that game and it was a close game and it was like, we tried, but unfortunately some breaks didn't go our way early in the game, and happens. But instead they folded like a cheap lawn chair, and it's just what you're gonna blame luck on a 7-run inning? Like, yeah, I'm sorry.
You're not unlucky when you've been doing this crap for 4 months straight.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just stupid or bad.
But yeah, to the point about the power, which I mean, yeah, the Giants, they admittedly don't hit a lot of home runs in Oracle Park, but I found this interesting. Shout out Waffles, he provided this on X. Offensive stats at Oracle Park this season: Giants are hitting 230 with a 304 on base, 48 home runs, 210 runs scored, 21 stolen bases. Other teams are hitting 254 with a 316 on base, 50 home runs, so only 2 more home runs than the Giants, but they've scored 246 runs and 50 stolen bases. Other teams simply hit for a better average and manufacture runs better.
So what you're saying is the ballpark. That's the blame, right?
Put the bricks on wheels and wheel it on in. Bring the wall in. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I just, it's like a lot of us have said, get some guys in here that hit for a high average. And I think that's, if we're going to turn the page towards 2026 on like, how can they improve this team? I mean, yes. Do they need a little bit more actual playable power? A guy like, if Bryce comes up and actually hits his ceiling, yeah, that would be as good as it could get probably for helping this team. But they need at least 1 or 2 guys in this lineup that can hit 280 plus. Like, they need a couple in there. And they need some speed. Like, and they lack on both of those things. So that's kind of the big thing that I could see improving this roster is getting either speed and on base skills, or a couple guys that hit for a higher average in the lineup to balance it out a little bit.
Well, I did see an interesting tweet by our buddy Jeff Young earlier today. I don't know if you guys saw it, but he tweeted out about how the Giants have one of the highest pop-up rates, 8.4% in the MLB, and their infield fly ball rate is 11.3%. Also one of the higher rates in the league. And I mean, that pretty much matches the eye test and what we see every game. I mean, how many times do you see the Giants have bases loaded with less than 2 outs and it's a pop up to the shortstop? I mean, that's just as good as a strikeout. And like I said earlier, it really goes back to them being unprepared to hit whatever pitch is coming to them. It's them sitting on whatever pitch they decide to sit on. I mean, we see it all the time with Patrick Bailey being late on fastballs or not swinging at fastballs because he's always sitting off speed and trying to take advantage of something coming in a little bit slower. But ultimately, I still think it really comes down to their approach. Like there is no reason why the players on this team cannot have at least a middle of the pack offense, even if they're in the bottom half of the league in home runs. There's no reason they can't do that. And guess what? You play half your games on the road. You play in plenty of hitter-friendly parks. It is not that hard to hit balls out at Dodger Stadium. It is not that hard to hit balls out at Coors Field, Chase Field. I mean, even Petco isn't that bad like it used to be since they brought the fences in. Like, they play in tons of yards that they have chances to hit home runs in, and they're just not doing it, and their at bat quality is absolute trash. Like, they let so many good pitches go by, and we see it with Chapman especially. The dude swings at belt high fastballs just right over the middle of the plate every single game, and it's like, man, if the guy could just connect with a fastball over the middle of the plate, the easiest pitch you can get to hit, things could be completely different for them.
Seems like they're either popping those fastballs right down the middle, either popping them up, or they're just looking at them go right down the middle on a 3-1 count. So again, all that ties back to fundamentals and coaching.
Yeah. George, man, I'd love this. Trust me. I would. I'd love that top of the lineup, man. That'd be fantastic.
Under a different coaching staff, of course.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I saw, and I want to say, I think it was Liam brought it up. Somebody else said, the Giants should promote some coaches from the lower levels that are, actually having success. And then Liam brought up, yeah, they did. Now, granted, Sacramento, he had done a solid job there, but it's not like we had produced a bunch of homegrown guys. But someone mentioned Ishikawa. I think Liam did earlier, and he's done a phenomenal job with those boys in San Jose. Yeah. I'm gonna say right now, if you guys want to see good baseball, go watch the San Jose Giants. Like I would 100% spend the like $5 to go get a ticket to San Jose. It might actually be like $10-20. I don't know. But I would go spend the money to go get tickets to San Jose over going to see the Giants and Oracle right now. 100%.
Yeah.
There is a ton of talent there, and they play good ball. Like they pitch well, they play good defense, they hit. I mean, they absolutely mash. And I'd highly recommend it. So
yeah, I mean, it really comes down to having more team speed, utilizing that team speed, being aggressive on the bases, putting the ball in play a ton. Because I mean, we see it all the time that the San Jose Giants will put up 13-14 runs in a game, and they'll have like one home run. And it's just those guys are constantly taking high quality at bats and, like I said, stealing tons of bases. I mean, I get alerts from those games every day, and it seems like there's always at least a couple guys that are scoring on wild pitches or something goofy like that, because they're just all over the place, and you're just not seeing it with the Giants. I know they don't have a ton of speed on the team, but they definitely could be utilizing what they have a lot more. Jung-Hoo Lee gets paid way too much for the type of player he is to not be stealing more bags. I would love to see Ramos get back to being a little bit more aggressive on the bases. And even though Willy Adames isn't a huge base stealer, I definitely think he needs to be a little bit more aggressive too, especially when you don't see any of those guys ever laying down bunts. You don't ever see them executing hit and runs. I mean, another thing I mentioned to you guys too was the other night with Drew Gilbert. He attempted a stolen base, I think, 3 different times the other night, and the middle of our order, the top of our order, just continuously swung through pitches every time. He had these massive jumps, and that is just stupid baseball all around. You have your teammate that has a base completely stolen, and you're going and fouling shit off. Like, what are we doing? Like, this is simple, fundamental baseball you learn as a kid. And you have Willy Adames, who's supposed to be one of your middle of the order guys and one of the leaders on your team. And he's out here fouling pitches off when you have a guy that stole the base easily. And then when they do finally let Gilbert actually steal the bag, not only does he take second, but he almost took third. And it took a absolute cannon of an arm from the outfielder and a perfect tag by Machado to smack him on the face and get him out by like an inch. And it took a replay review off that too. Yeah. So
yeah, it's tough. So all right, so let's just, before we wrap this up, what do you guys want to see out of the rest of this season, other than for them to just cancel it? But out of the actual, like, I know Bob mentioned sorry Ricky, but I know Bob mentioned earlier that, like, maybe it's about time we start sitting some veterans to play some young guys.
You don't say.
Yeah, you don't say, Bob.
That should have been weeks ago. But realistically speaking, I do want to see that. I want to see. I mean, it's not like I've been asking that for a year and a half now or anything, but I do want to see some of these younger guys get an extended look on a consistent basis. I want to see. I wouldn't mind if the Giants kept losing at this point, which is weird to say because I want the Giants to win every single night. But if it improves their chances of getting a decent lottery pick, who knows? I might be open to that. I really want to see Rafi hit 30 bombs and 100 RBIs. I feel like if he can manage to get 7 more, and what, he's like 18 RBIs away from 100. If he can manage to do that by the end of the year, that'd be a pretty cool accolade to have going into next season. I want to see people hit the like and subscribe button. I want to see that as well.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, the biggest things is just I want to see some of these younger players get an extended look the rest of the year. I mean, we've talked about it forever. You're at risk of losing at least 2 or 3 of them this upcoming offseason or spring. See what you have. I mean, you got, 7 more weeks of the season, something like that. Let's see what you have in these guys before it's too late.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just someone like Drew Gilbert. I know he's like 1 for 22 since they brought him up. I don't even care. Just put him in right field every day.
Yeah.
Now to the end of the season, you have nothing to lose. I'm not going to sit here and say I want to see the team lose games. At the end of the day, I'd rather they start getting the culture going the right way. And I don't think losing a bunch is necessarily the best way to do that. But there is a benefit to that. Obviously, it increases your odds at better picks. But that said, I get Drew Gilbert should be out there basically every day. I mean, at this point, call Luciano up, send Fitzgerald to the Kiwoom Heroes or something. I don't care. Bring Luciano up. I don't care if he's got to be in the DH spot. Put him out there versus lefties at the very least. I mean, he's got a near 1,000 OPS versus left-handed pitching in Sacramento. Give him a little look. It just play some kids. Put McRae out there a few games. Does anybody here realize that Grant McRae is still on the roster right now? Because I think he hasn't played in a game in about a week and a half.
He came in the 8th inning yesterday.
Oh, cool.
When nobody was watching.
I wasn't watching, so it didn't happen.
all 6,000 fans got to witness that.
It's the if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it, did it make any noise? If Grant McRae gets put in a game in the 8th inning when everyone already turned it off 3 innings earlier.
They probably should have saved Barry Bonds' bobblehead day for a little bit later on in the season.
Yeah. Blew their wad early. Oops.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, I mean, I obviously want to see Bryce for at least a few weeks at the tail end of the season. I mean, I'm not opposed to Luciano. I don't think he has any future on this team whatsoever. But, I mean, hey, if you want to bring him up and see if he can hit a couple bombs at the end of the year, might be worth taking an extended look. Because you're going to end up looking at him probably in spring training, and then he'll probably get cut or traded for a bag of Doritos. And that's pretty much where you're at with him. I'd love to see McRae a little bit more. Love to see Tidwell. People have mentioned him in the chat. Mm-hmm. He's been really good in Sacramento and actually deserves it. Couple other guys we've talked about a bunch off the channel is Trent Harris and Roxby, both relief pitchers, right-handed relief pitchers down in Sacramento. So I'd love to see those guys too, and ultimately just cut a little bit of the dead weight off the roster. I mean, if you need to, just throw Wilmer and Verlander on the IL for the last month and open up a couple spots. Let some of these young pitchers come up here and throw, and get rid of Tang if you need to. I mean, ultimately, you gave him a look. He had the one real good start, and then other than that, he's been pretty inconsistent.
Just giving some more positivity for people here. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of fans are excited about him since the trade, and he's got a great fastball, and he's already had a little bit of a taste of the big leagues. So I don't see why not. This is your best opportunity. You already sent Wisenhunt down. You're about to bring Landon Roop up, but why not clear another rotation spot and just kind of see what you have and let a couple of these guys audition for next season, so you have a little bit better idea of what you're working with, going into spring training next year.
Yeah. This sweeper is nasty that he's got. I he has 3 good pitches right now. I mean, his fastball's good. He throws 2 different sliders between the sweeper and the gyro slider that he likes to throw. I'd love to see him get a look up there. to finish the season, get a couple starts. Yeah, I mean they might not release Verlander. They should just DFA him and let him go pick a team that's contending if
Wilmer
anybody
2,
wants
please.
him.
Wilmer 2, please.
Yeah, and Wilmer.
It's like we know these guys aren't going to be here next year. Why have them take up spots here at the end of the season? I mean, and especially with Wilmer, the guy is clearly not healthy. I mean, we've been saying it for months now. The guy is good for nothing other than a walk and a single. At least he gives you a little bit more of a pro at bat than most of the lineup. But I mean, Bob Melvin, what are we doing? Cleanup? The guy has hit like 2 home runs in the last like 4 months, 3 months. Like, what are we doing?
Hey,
The guy has 0 power.
When he came in for Dom Smith with the bases juice,
Dude,
and he got a sac fly, and everyone was like, "Great at bat." That's what we're talking about. It's like, bro, what are you saying right now? Yeah, Cody was heated by that.
I literally, I was watching that game. I was about to drive an hour to dinner and I was about to turn the game off and everything. And as I'm getting my wife was loading our daughter in the car and I the bases are loaded and I'm like, okay, cool. We got Dom coming up. And I'm like, I get it's a lefty coming in and that's fine. But Dom's been their hottest hitter. Like,
have you seen his splits?
We've got
though?
his chance. Oh, I mean, Dom's splits are terrible against lefties. I get it. Trust me.
No, they're actually decent.
Oh, he's hitting like $140 on lefties, I think.
Historically speaking, I'm saying they're decent.
Oh, historically, yeah. Okay, I thought you just meant this season. But he's also only got like 17 at bats against lefties this season. They don't even give him a shot. But like my whole thing is, like he was by far their hottest hitter at the time. I think he was riding a 14-game hit streak at the time. And he's coming up, and I'm like, all right, we got a chance. And they freaking send Wilmer out there, and I immediately just turned the game off, and I was like, well, that's ball game. And I tossed my phone down, drove an hour, and I get there, and and I sent out a tweet about how dumb it was, and sure enough, I get there, and Wilmer sack flied, and I've got people replying to my thing going, it was the right move, and I'm like, no, it wasn't. Like we gotta
meet that 1-run quota for the game.
Yeah. Well, people are like, oh, every manager makes that move. And they're just talking about the splits and things like that. And I was like, okay, in a nutshell, healthy Wilmer Flores, healthy Dom Smith. They've both been playing all year, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, maybe you're going to make that move every time. But what it doesn't factor in is the fact that Dom Smith was on like a 14-game hitting streak. And Wilmer literally hadn't even taken an at bat in over a week.
Yeah.
Because he had been injured. So we took a dude off the bench cold and threw him in with the bases loaded because of a matchup.
It's not like it was like a, third, fourth inning in a really close game. It was like the 8th and you're down 4.
Yeah,
you needed more than just a sack fly.
I think they were down 3 because I think it was 3 bases loaded and he got a sack fly to make it 4-2.
Regardless.
But yeah, I mean, it's like a base hit there. If Dom Smith pulls one into right field, you score 2 and the guy on first goes to third. And you got the tying run on third. Like, it's just dumb. Like, there was no other way I could put it. There's nothing nice to say about that.
Hey, he had the swinging bunt the other day too.
Yeah.
The only run they scored.
Yeah. And what makes it worse is, right after the last game of the season, there's going to be all sorts of excuses from Melvin, and it's going to be, Wilmer was playing through a torn ACL and a concussion and a, torn labrum and broken finger. And it's like, okay, like the last 3 years with Wilmer and Wade, why the hell was he playing? It's so bizarre.
Wilmer is actually Greg Jennings in Madden. And
broken leg.
We should actually just be grateful for how amazing he is.
Hey, Wilmer puts the team on his back.
Dude, all jokes aside, though, they really need to take a serious look in the mirror and just accept the reality that you're not going to the playoffs, man. You're in 4th place in your division. Like, accept this reality, shelve a lot of these guys that have no future next year or are halfway banged up. I honestly think they should probably preserve Robbie for next year as well. And just 60-day Verlander, 60-day Wilmer, send Tyler Fitzgerald to Taiwan or Uzbekistan or whatever, and bring up these younger players, get an extended look at them, and just at least have a product on the field that's going to be somewhat, exciting to watch, and just see what you have for the last 8 weeks of the year. Like, you're not going to contend. It's plain and simple. Like, we all just need to accept that reality. The Giants are not a playoff team this year. So why are you going to continuously roll out a banged up lineup and a non-motivated team on a daily basis? Bring in some guys that are young and hungry and wanting to get some playing time and see what you got.
Yeah. We got to see what we got out of Wade Meckler.
No.
It's on the 40, man.
You want to see what you have out of Wade Meckler? That's what you have out of Wade Meckler.
Can he catch?
That dude can't even catch a cold.
Yeah. Still has the greatest highlight I've ever seen. Oh my god.
That's my spiel for the night.
Yeah, no, for sure. Does anyone think Devers is really 28? I hope so. Otherwise, this deal's gonna suck.
Yeah, the same people that think Juan Soto is the age he says he is too.
Yeah. I am 12.
I am 12.
Oh man! All right. Anything else people want to chat about before we?
It would be a good replacement for Bailey.
A net would be a good replacement for Bailey.
One of those pitchbacks, yeah, that'd be good. Bring Gary Brown up. That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah,
you're not wrong, Tom.
Yeah, got a case of the Burls.
Case of the Burls. What's up with the Dodgers?
Probably not, unfortunately.
Murakami. I mean, he's a third baseman, isn't he?
Yeah. Giants have 2 third basemen on their 3 third basemen actually on their team currently.
And if you want to slide him at DH, you got 4 there. So there's no room for him.
Who can make? I think I saw this earlier. Sorry, I tagged it and I forgot to bring the chat up. Young players. Ocean's asked any young players that we could see making the team next season. I mean, if we're going on guys that have not debuted in San Francisco, because there's obviously a handful of young guys that debuted this season that I could see making the team, but if we're limiting it to guys that haven't debuted, I would say Eldridge, Tidwell, Harris, maybe a Roxby type, someone like that. And dark horse would be a guy like Reggie Crawford if he's healthy. And if his
about it.
Yeah.
Especially with the way this regime operates, there's not really any guys in AA that are just going to make that jump out of nowhere.
Give me Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, if the Dodgers can just suck, that'd be fantastic.
I saw a stat, and it was like since I think it was the All-Star break, if the Giants had just played 500 ball, they'd be 4 games back of the Dodgers right now. If they were just mid, they would be 4 games back at LA, and they'd be tied for first in the wild card. Just wrap your minds around that, guys.
They needed Jeff Fisher to be their coach in the second half. God.
Bring Farhan and Gabe back.
Yeah. You know what? We have absolutely roasted Gabe in the past, and I mean, a lot of it's deserved. I just couldn't take the guy seriously, but this club played way better fundamental ball under him than they do under Bob. Like, good God, man.
You're not wrong.
They had a talent issue under Gabe, and I didn't believe in him as a leader in building the right culture. But damn, they actually played mostly fundamental ball. They just had kind of crappy players. I mean, they were relying on guys like JD Davis to be the big run producers in their lineup. And yeah, I mean, that's just a problem. But
I think they had better leaders on the field, though, compared to to now. They may not have had as much talent team-wise, but I think they had better leaders.
I'm more comparing 22 and 23 to these last couple of years. 21, like, I mean, you had Buster, Crawford, Bell, Longoria. I mean, even in the pitching side, Gossman.
Yeah, that's more of what
back then they were filled with leaders, and Posey was still, he's a Hall of Famer, and like they had guys all over that were winners on that team, and this team, and then the last couple of years they went from that to whatever you want to call their lineup, and so that's why
I was just gonna say they were mid in 22 and 23, but at least they played better baseball, if that makes sense. Like, they were more fundamentally sound.
Yeah, they just didn't have the talent. Yeah. It was like,
hey, and they at least knew how to win games at home. I sent you guys it the other day, but under Kappler, Giants were 160 and 113 at home, and only 71 and 68 under Bob so far. Or actually, that was before the conclusion of the Padres series. So actually more like 71 and 70 under Bob. And even without the 2021 season, they were 20 games over 500 at home under Kappler. And I'm not even a Kappler fan.
Yeah, none of us
did not like the guy, but
those are more worried about burger reviews, and he still has like my favorite quote though ever. Hey guys, if you ever want to get somewhere just quicker, did you know you just gotta walk faster?
Yeah.
Thanks.
So cringy.
Thanks, Socrates. Good Socrates.
God. I remember one of the Giants writers, when he was a little bit newer still, put out an article about how for his birthday they got him like ice cream and like a birthday cake, and he wouldn't eat it. And he was saying even with ice cream, so he stays like on his diet, he would just eat the ice cream and not swallow it and like spit it back out. I'm like, you're a freaking weirdo, dude. Like, you have issues. That's
not okay.
Like serial killer behavior right there.
That's 100% serial killer.
Bro, go eat a Halo top or something. It's got like 300 calories.
Yeah. It's just, I'm like, who does that?
Yeah, what? Yeah. That's bad, man.
Weird times, man. I just want a normal manager that's good at his job. Is that too much to ask for?
Yes. Apparently it is. You're telling me there's not one coach that can't just be like a normal dude? Like, just God.
You either got a douche at Kappler, or you got a damn prehistoric artifact in Melvin. Like, you can't win.
I think I got the gift from Melvin.
Oh God, I'm scared. Wait, Ocean's Home says, I had a boss that would eat a whole bag of chips but only lick the flavor off. What?
Garbage can full of
See, that's some Gabe Kappler stuff right there.
It's just so weird.
What?
Bulimia.
I don't even know if you would consider it that.
No, it's just weird behavior, man.
I'm curious what Cody's GIF is, what he's coming up with.
You've seen this GIF plenty of times, but I hope it's this one. I didn't just no, that's not it.
But yeah, guys, while he pulls up that GIF, you guys have any last minute questions, comments, concerns, anything, drop them in the chat so we can read them out before we hop off. Probably get off in like 4 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There we go.
That's pretty accurate.
Just so slow. God.
People were saying hire Dusty Baker. We went over that a little bit earlier, Joshua.
Yeah, Joshua, we mentioned that. If you're gonna do that, he better have like a successor with him.
An heir to the throne.
Yeah.
Let's see, Bob. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else though. Other than there's 230 something viewers across both platforms. So if you guys haven't, slide over to the show on YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe.
Yeah,
that fun stuff.
I just took a look. We're at 1,934 subs. If you're not already, hit that like, hit that subscribe. We are on the road to 2K. We're hoping to get there by the end of the year. Giants aren't exactly doing us any favors on that front, but we're trucking along. We'll keep pumping out the minor league updates every Tuesday, live shows every Thursday. Beyond that, there hasn't really been a ton of need to run an extra video in there, but we'll keep doing those. I'll keep throwing some shorts out there for sure. Some of the minor league highlights as they come in. Follow me on X, EYDShow, Ricky, sfgiantscove on Instagram. All those good things. When we hit 2K, we will do a giveaway of some sort. We promise it will not be Giants tickets. We don't wish that upon anybody right now. So maybe 2026 Giants tickets, but we will not give away. I would give away San Jose Giants tickets before I gave away San Francisco Giants tickets right now. So, we'll figure out something cool to do with that.
And if Patrick Bailey's off the team by this offseason, we'll be giving away this jersey right here behind me, signed.
I told Ricky I'd throw in my prized possession as well.
Yep. See,
Joey
Rob
Bart's,
said it.
What do you say?
I'm dead serious. If Bailey's off the team this offseason, we're giving away that jersey on the show.
I'm gonna rig the giveaway where I'm gonna go on one of my other emails and comment in the chat a specific word, and then I'm gonna set it for just that word, and I'm just gonna be like, haha, and it's gonna go right up there on the wall.
My job, we have 28 different emails. I'm just gonna log on all of those, man. I'm winning that thing.
Make Ricky look at it every week. Damn.
I'd be like, Dan, isn't this your address?
We'll have Bryce's mom send one back.
Can we trade Wizenhunt, Bailey, and Casey for Quan? Would that be enough? Probably not.
I don't think that'd be enough,
I mean,
you might be able to
did anybody?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I think you could do Ramos. I mean,
Papirski jersey.
Yeah, I mean, you could do Ramos and Birdsong. That might be enough. Not sure.
Just do the trade package I've been wanting all year. The
Meckler, Luciano, Bailey.
No, the
Tang.
the Meckler, Bailey, Wilmer, Murphy. Who else? You could throw Tang in, sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe those four for sure.
I like how the organization has just not acknowledged Tom Murphy all year. Nobody asks, nobody says anything. He's just hanging out in Arizona, probably.
Dude, you never see him at the games or anything.
I'm telling you, they just tell him to stay away. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen, that nobody just acknowledges anything about him. They don't just say, "Oh, he has a bad back and he's not going to play all year."
Remember,
they just don't say anything.
when they're like, oh, he has a slight oblique strain. He'll be back in, 5 days or whatever. And then nothing after that.
Just stay home, Tom. We'll buy you a new house. Just don't come near the team.
That's literally how they approached it.
Buy you a new house with the $8 million that we flushed down the toilet signing you.
Yeah.
That whole signing made no sense.
God. I was trying to find the thing that somebody made that they were like, oh, yeah, here's Tom Murphy bobblehead giveaway. And it was literally just a base of a bobblehead with nothing about it.
You know how like every year during football season they put out like a post and it's like the best quarterback possible or whatever, and it's like all these good attributes from these different players combined. If you did one for the worst catcher in baseball, all you'd have to do is combine Patrick Bailey and Tom Murphy into one. And then there you have it.
And
the worst hitting catcher and the worst throwing catcher.
I was gonna say, and the sad part is like that's not even a joke. Like that.
It would be two players.
That's legitimate accuracy right there, and
that's sad, man.
It's sad, bro.
Yeah,
you could probably throw in Blake Sable's blocking if you want to have a little bit of fun with that. But
there you go.
Bigfoot sightings and Tom Murphy. That's true. I agree, Oceans. I'd love for Tom Murphy's job right now.
He's just chilling, making $8 million over 2 years to sit on his couch.
I mean, I pulled my oblique getting out of bed. I can go rehab in Arizona for $4 million.
Oh my gosh.
God.
They must have had him sign like an NDA or something. I don't get it, man.
I don't know.
I believe you, George. I believe you.
Could you imagine we hear in like a week that he's like accelerated his rehab down in like on the Arizona complex, and he starts getting in like, little scrimmages in with their prospects, and then all of a sudden they bring him up and activate him for like the last 2 weeks of the season?
No, dude. Imagine you don't even hear those rumbles and you just get a news report from the Giants on X. They've activated Tom Murphy off the 60-day. People would lose their freaking minds, including me.
Imagine being the player that gets DFA'd off the 40-man for like 2 weeks of Tom Murphy.
It'd be like a Keaton win.
This would be my reaction.
This is my nightmare. Oh my gosh,
man.
Dude.
I need to bring gifts on here more often.
We should make that a regular thing.
Yeah. God, we're gonna get like copyrighted by like 4 different movies today, and whatever. Damn. All right, I think it's about time to wrap this up.
I don't
Ran
have
it a bit
anything
long.
else.
Appreciate everybody hanging today. Obviously not the beacon of positivity today. Just randomly found a trash bag that matches up with this theme. So yeah, that's about how today, how this season's gone at this point. It is what it is. I'm glad everybody hung out though, vented with us. Hopefully next week we actually have some good stuff to talk about. Would love for some of these young players to get a look, and hopefully we get some good play out of them, and we'll just take the rest of the season for what it is, and hopefully we can take something positive from it. So
fingers crossed.
Yeah. But as we said earlier, follow the Instagram, the X, all that good stuff. Hit the like, hit the subscribe.
Great bitch fest, boys. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate you.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate. So, chances on Tucker. Probably about a snowball's chance in hell.
The chances of the Giants signing Tucker are lower than my chances of taking Sydney Sweeney on a date.
Hey, she's single. You might actually be right.
I was gonna make a joke, but I don't want to get canceled.
Yeah.
I mean, with the way the Giants are playing, I mean, it's kind of hard to get excited about Kyle Tucker.
I'm sure Kyle Tucker's looking at Bob Melvin and this staff in this park and going, "Yeah, that's where I want to play."
Yeah, definitely not.
So, yeah, chances on Bichette better than Tucker. That's about all I'll say.
But not by much.
Yeah, not probably by much. I think he's going to be a money one where if you put the biggest deal there, you can get him. So
He's had a pretty solid year. He'll get paid.
he's hitting 300 again for like the 4th time in his career.
Yep.
Everybody told me he was cooked last season.
I think he ranks like 7th or 8th in the DRS or WAR or shortstop, something like that. But
I mean, yeah, maybe WAR. Definitely not DRS.
I don't think it's DRS. Yeah, I think it was WAR, either WAR or F4, one of those two. But yeah, he's had a really solid season.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right. Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up. Appreciate everybody. We'll see you all on, well, like I said, minor league update Tuesday. See you guys all next Thursday for the live show. But other than that, go Giants, even though they stink. And yeah. Yay.